Hey everybody, it's Mandy from Chapel Forge. We're at the old homestead today and it's shed hauling day. When we called around, it's really hard to find a shed hauler that has a mule. So basically that's like a little machine that helps them kind of maneuver into tighter spaces. But we found one. We have a friend whose dad actually used to haul sheds for a living. His buddy that owned it told us where to find someone that has a mule. So got in touch with him. That was a month ago. He was a month out and I was like, oh my God, this is forever. And of course, here we are. Here's today. So we got everything cleared out. If you'll remember, I mean, there was like the camper here and all kinds of stuff. So this is all ready to go. The sheds are cleaned out. They're swept. The goat shed we were able to stage with the pettibone. The day we were working on the garden and we had the pettibone here, I was like, why don't we just bring it up out of the woods? Because of course it rained. And so we were hoping that it wasn't going to be too muddy, but we had it here. So we just got it out ourselves. But we can't haul it down the road because it's too wide. So we have the lawn shed and what was the pool shed. You know, we have an in-ground pool at this house. Don't have that at the new house. So the pool shed is going to become my hay and straw storage. This will still be for the mower, potentially the four-wheeler, you know, things like that. Yard things that we don't want in the shop because the shop is going to be blacksmithing stuff and whatever. So that's what we were working on today. So I'll kind of show you this process. If you're new to getting sheds hauled, I believe if it's over 102 inches, I think that's the rule, then it's considered an oversized load and you have to have somebody else do it. These are all 10 feet wide, the goat shed, the pool shed, and the lawn shed, all 10 feet wide or more. So actually, I think they're all 10 feet. I think they're 10 by 10 on the goat shed. Just kidding. 12 by 20 on the pool, on the lawn shed. And then the pool shed is like, I don't know, 10 by 8 or something. But so in theory, we could have hauled the pool shed ourselves, but he has a 40-foot trailer. We have 40 foot worth of sheds. Might as well just have him throw it on there. The cost of hauling these sheds is about $1,600. I'm sure some people are gonna be like, oh my God, why don't you just leave them and get new ones? Because I don't know if you've shopped for sheds since COVID, but you're not gonna touch one for anything near that price. So I've had conversations with people about why are you taking this and why are you taking that? And I mean, part of the reason is we have a lot of labor into these things, like the garden. There's a video coming about moving the garden. That was a thing, but we're gonna get it done. And okay, so like for instance, this was a vintage chicken coop and there was a place down the road that had it. I think I got it for, I don't know, 14 or 1500, I forget. And it has worked perfectly for my goats. I can milk in it, you know, they have plenty of space. It's fantastic. I only have 3 goats, so it's perfect for them right now. And it's mom and babies. When I get more goats, obviously we're gonna have to explain that, but that's down the road. You know, this shed right here, we only spent like $2,500 on it, but that was pre-COVID and it was because it was like a show model one and it had like some dings and dents and was like missing a handle. I'm like, don't really care. It's still gonna work as a great shed. However, to buy a 12 by 20 shed like this now with a rolling garage door and a man door and windows and the whole shooting match, you know, we're looking at 8, 10, 12 grand, something insane like that. So I'm guessing if we had to replace all of these sheds, I'm guessing we'd be in the ballpark of, I don't know, say 20 or 30,000 maybe, depending on if we could find them used or if we had to buy them new or build them ourselves or like whatever, which, you know, we wouldn't build a shed ourselves. That's just not our specialty. We are not woodworkers. So anyway, my whole point in all that rambling is that it is 100% worth it for me to pay this shed hauler $1,600 or whatever to move these sheds. It's, you know, they're going 100 miles north and then he's got 100 miles back because he's somewhere in Lancaster. So it is definitely worth it for us to get those moved, to pay that cost. And you know, same with the garden. And I talk about this a little bit in the garden video, is we have a lot of time and labor and money into the garden, so it was totally worth moving. So I'm going to show you how the shed hauling procedure goes today. Basically, the first thing is you have to have everything out of it. We sweep it just because, why not? What other opportunity do you have to sweep your sheds besides when they're being moved? So swept those out. Anything that's not attached has to come out. So we did all of that stuff, checked them, you know, there's no like loose shingles and crap like that. Swept them off, that kind of stuff. So the top, like you can't have like tree branches flying off in the wind and all that kind of thing. And you have to make sure that you're clear around it. So like we used to have stuff stacked here and like stacked, you know, along the sides, old windows and things like that. You need to make sure that you have all of that stuff clear so that your shed hauler has maximum space, safety, all of that kind of thing. So I'm going to show you how that goes today. I know that I don't know, maybe a video on shed hauling is really not uber exciting, but when you're in the situation where you have sheds that you need to get moved or want to have moved, if you've never done it before, you might not know what needs to be done. So gonna take you through that. So we were supposed to get these sheds picked up on Tuesday, but the shed hauler got behind. He had something else going on yesterday. It's now Thursday. Zed and I were up at 5. It's supposed to be here around 6. It's like 7:30 and he pulled in. So we are hoping, of course it rained like a lot yesterday. It was totally dry on Tuesday. So Lord willing, we can get this done. Alright, so this is the mule that I was talking about. So he's going to use this to hook onto the shed, and then he's going to use that to get it up onto the trailer. So the goat shed is on there. We have the mower shed and the pool shed. You can see why we were concerned. It was squishy and not huge puddles. I mean, it has certainly been way worse, but this was super dry the other day. Hopefully we don't have any issues. Alright, so he had to push this one with the mule instead of pull it. This one was built by CTC kids, and we acquired it for like a couple $100. I'm pretty sure.
We got some for free.
Oh, maybe my brother paid a couple $100 for it and then we got it free. Something went down like that. Anyway, so it doesn't have like traditional runners on the bottom, and so he had to push it instead of pulling it. And of course he's like fighting the mud and all that, but I think we're doing all right. All right, so we have the goat shed, the pool shed, and the lawn shed now on the shed hauler's trailer. That probably only took, I don't know, less than an hour and a half, which is pretty impressive considering it's pretty muddy. So we are going to, and the what?
And hilly.
And hilly and every other obstacle you can imagine. So we are going to get on the road here shortly. He said he'll probably travel about 60 miles an hour. So Zad wants to take the tractor with us. It's not at the other house yet because we were still loading things here. We're gonna take the tractor and get up there, hopefully ahead of him. We still need to load it, but we should still be able to get ahead of him if he's only going like 60. And then that way we'll have it there just in case he would need it to have any extra maneuverability at the other house. Yeah, put any extra stone down, that kind of thing. So we'll have the tractor there if we need it. So we are getting ready to roll out. So he's headed out. Dad's gonna load the tractor on our trailer. He said he's not gonna go more than 55 or 60, so I'm sure we'll catch up to him shortly. So we had to load the tractor. We were a little bit behind him and we caught up as we suspected that we would. So there's our sheds going down the highway. Everything looks good. So we made it to the new homestead. They're all safe and sound. They got the mule off. They're working on unstrapping and we're gonna get these babies in place. Yeah. Right here. So just quick side note, the trampoline was here when we moved in and we were gonna tear it down, and I am so glad that we didn't. Like today, it's great for self-containment when we have 4 kids. We have Missy and Jeremy's 2 youngest. Yeah, 2 youngest today, plus our 2. So, you know, we have 4 10 and under right now, so that is the perfect containment for the sheds while we're like moving around big equipment and all that kind of stuff, making sure nobody's getting hurt. Plus, just with the move in general, it has been a huge godsend because they are entertained with it for hours. So this is a great example as to why we needed a mule. So he had to bring it in around the hydrant, past my 2 chicken coops, and squeeze it in over here next to the kayak shed. And this is just a prime reason why we couldn't just hire any shed hauler. We had to have one that had a mule. You know, I showed you at the other house why we needed it there, and we knew we were gonna need it for this. And these are gonna have to go over the culvert. So there was just no way we were gonna be able to do this without having a mule. So he's able to maneuver this really exactly where we need it, right where Zad and Jeremy laid the pad, and it's gonna be perfect. It'll be right near, you know, my garden's gonna be in this area, the play yard down there, as you know, the animals around here, so it's just gonna be the perfect placement. And really, the little mowing Zad will have to do is obviously gonna be down here, so having the mower staged in that shed when he does need to mow is perfect. All right, so he was able to butt it up pretty much right next to the kayak shed. There's a little space in there, maybe like a foot or whatever, which is fine. We'll probably, who knows, like Zad said, stack some Schedule 40 in there, or who knows, whatever. You know, we always have random little ditties that need somewhere to go. So this worked out. So he's backing up into this area. So if you recall, this is where Jeremy and Zad put in the culvert probably a month ago now at this point. So, and this is one of the reasons that we took the time to put the culvert in and spent the money on stone and all of that, because we knew we were going to be using this as an access road, and you know, we didn't want to have to be backing over sketchy, you know, dirt and falling into the creek, and you know, nobody has time for that static. So this worked out great. What was the pool shed and is now the hay and straw shed is in place. Pretty impressive work by our shed hauler. Did an amazing job. Like, pretty much had to jackknife it to get it in there, but got it done. Again, why we needed a mule. There was no way we could have done this without a mule. Last one to sit in place is the goat. Last shed is in place, and I made a mistake. He only charges $13.50, which is insane. We were kind of doing some math with him, and I think we were probably at 20 grand between these 3 sheds if we had to replace them new. So that's amazing. So he did a great job. All these sheds are in place. We have a few more loads to bring up from the other house, and then we should be on to cleaning and prepping for sale, which I cannot wait. Zad has a chainsaw class this weekend, so I'll be staying at Missy and Jeremy's with the littles, and just kind of getting caught up on like mail and paperwork. As you can imagine, I have like piles of things that I'm just ignoring unless they are super urgent. Suzu, stop. So we won't have, you know, work time this weekend, but we are hoping by like Monday, Tuesday, we can like put the sink in the bathroom, get the walkway finished outside. I'll take you through all those projects, and just kind of clean if we need to touch up paint anywhere, that kind of stuff, and get that house on the market. So it has been a journey here getting these sheds here. I'm glad that we sort of planned ahead, because as I mentioned before, we scheduled him a month ago. So lots of logistics when you are moving this kind of operation. So as always, thanks for following along, and I don't know what my next video is going to be that I'll be bringing you. It's probably going to be starting the fixes at the other house. I don't know that we're moving anything too terribly exciting yet, like some fence posts and stuff. So thanks as always for watching, and we'll see you next time.